Next one will be information from the Triple I Conference from Mandy Raymond and Melissa Stanley. They want to share a few comments about the trip last month.
I've talked about it for the last couple of years. You were in.
This was my first year going, and I enjoyed it tremendously. I learned so much about being on a school board, things to do, things not to do. Learned about, I meant to bring my paper, but I didn't do it. Superintendent evaluations. There were so many different things. I couldn't even begin to tell you all the stuff that I learned, but I'm looking forward to going to it next year. Everybody needs to go at least once while you're on the board. It would be great to have everybody there. Also enjoyed visiting with other school board members from different counties. Find out what's going on in their county, if they're having the same issues as we are, or if their strengths are the same as ours, what's happening. It was very, very awesome. I loved it. So I'm looking forward to going next year.
I brought the book, and if you guys want to see it, or anybody else if you want to, but it's Friday, Saturday, and Sunday has the less amount of sessions, but if you can just visualize from this part of the book to this part of the book, this is all the sessions they offer in those 3 days. And each page is full. So you can see sessions on anything from safety to finance to school board, how you're supposed to do your job, how to find better candidates, they're literally anything and everything that you want to learn is in here. Student evaluation, teacher evaluation, superintendent evaluation, things about the law like para, which is like Open Meetings Act, you name it, it is up there and you can learn it. And the best part is you get to pick and choose. And if you're in one session, you're really not getting much out of it, leave and go to another one, because there's so many in 3 different hotels. It's not even just the one hotel, it's 3 different places that you can go. And the professional development is unreal. And the networking, because talking to different superintendents, talking to different board members, it's amazing the things that you can learn up there. The delegate assembly, I was the delegate again this year. Just watching how it actually works and how we get to vote and actually have a say in what it is that the Illinois Association of School Boards fights for us every year, because they're the ones that go to the legislature, and fight for certain things for school boards themselves. And you actually get a say in that. There's just each school board gets one vote, and so it's not just what they decide they want to do. Your board actually can talk before you go, and the different resolutions that they're voting on, you get a say in that. And it's really neat just to see the big parliamentary procedure of this whole place, because how many thousands of people went? I don't even know if I heard the number this year, but it's normally in the tens of thousands, because you picture we're one board of 7, and how many school boards there are in Illinois, and they all come together for this one weekend of professional development. It's amazing. So it is. One of the books that we got at the bookstore is a quick reference guide for school board members. Very quick little thing, and this is for our board to share, pass along, whatever. So anyway, I brought those for later. Yes, and I agree with Melissa. If you can get everybody there, it would be amazing, because it's the one time you can actually talk amongst yourselves like people, and just I don't know, it's nice.
Thank you both, and thank you both for going. I appreciate you being there, and it was a nice weekend. Last under there, and most of you don't have this, I added one. I would like to know the board's opinion on me being able to spend a little bit of time helping with Master's Hand on Tuesdays. This is obviously, I don't feel like I probably should be spending the whole day there, but if I can jump in and help at times, I would really like to be a part of this. Yeah, I have done it once, I only did it for an hour or 2, and I think this is a very important aspect of our community that I would like to be involved in. So I guess my thoughts on how much time, or is that something that you're not comfortable with me doing? What are your thoughts?
That's great.
You don't mind me being involved?
Great way to see the community, all of it.
don't overdo it, just be a part of
So are you
whatever.
gonna do Rotary and then go there?
What's that?
Are you gonna do Rotary and then go there?
No, well, I mean, I don't know how to manage the schedule. I mean, is
I
it,
mean, that's taking quite a bit out of one day.
okay, so I shouldn't be involved in both of those, or?
Well, I would drop one.
I disagree.
I think you can still be involved in both, just on schedule.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay. All right, at this time, I would, those of you that if you desire to go, we're gonna move on to, we do have recognition of guests and public comments if some of you want to speak. If not, those that came to speak, thanks for coming. You're gonna be at the concert after a while, we'll see some of you.
Okay, this time we're going to move on to a recognition of our guests and/or public comments. Do we have anyone that's wanting to speak tonight? Your name, sir?
John Kraft.
Okay, Mr. Crack, we'll give you a couple minutes to speak.
Okay, first of all, I'll try to be quick. I speak at public bodies across the state, from universities, community colleges, large cities, tiny villages, townships, school boards. This is the most restricted public comment policy I've ever come across in 2 minutes. It's ridiculous, and I think we need to change it. The other thing is, he talked about the Triple I conference. I'm hoping that, they may be covered, voters' rights, as in the people that vote for board members. You don't have a right to take those voters' rights away. And if you read my article that I wrote a couple months ago, you'll know what I'm talking about. You don't have a right to censure a board member. You don't have a right to try to affect their First Amendment rights and limit them by sending them a cease and desist letter. Those are rights you do not have. He's an elected board member, and everybody knows what I'm talking about. They all have the same right as each and every one of you. Should the majority of the board change, and you get 4 or 3 more that thinks the same way Jed does, how would you guys feel if every time you opened your mouth they censored you, sent you cease and desist letters, prohibited your access to the same Dropbox account that everybody else has, prohibited your access to the same information that everybody else has, and on the same terms? You can't have it on the same terms that other people have it. It's ridiculous. You need to rethink what you did. He deserves, and the voters deserve, for the person that they voted into office to have the exact same rights and privileges as everybody else sitting up there at that table. I don't think you can take that away, and I hope somebody files a lawsuit to fix it, because that's obviously what it's going to take. I'm asking you to rescind your censure, because it's ridiculous. You can't censure another board member. I was at a meeting up in College of DuPage several years ago, and somebody stood up there the night that they were going to censure one of their board members and stated that censure is a refuge of scoundrels, and it always fails. And it did. It failed miserably. So I'm asking you guys to rescind that and rescind the letter to keep him from doing whatever he's doing. If he's breaking the law, contact the state attorney. That's your recourse. I don't think, from what I've talked to him and anybody else, I don't think he was breaking any laws. That's all I have to say. Thanks.
Thank you. Anyone else? Your name, sir?
Kirk, K-I-R-K, last name is Allen, A-L-L-E-N. On your public comment policy, I'd just like to comment in regards to you're actually the first school board I've ever been to that has, the public can ask questions. And I appreciate that because that's consistent with what the school code says. The follow-up to that is, do you guys typically provide answers at some time frame to those questions?
Correct, we'd follow up, we'd take those questions and then provide a follow-up.
Okay, I do appreciate that. College of DuPage, one thing they did, and just as a suggestion, and it helps other school boards across the state, part of that networking concept, when someone has a question, a lot of times it's a uniform question that would apply to any school board. If you post the question online and the answer to it, a lot of times people won't even have to FOIA information because over time, you'll build up a database of questions that usually, for any of you who've been on a board very long, the questions you do get are pretty consistent year after year after year after year. And a lot of times that can make things a whole lot more streamlined in the future, make things more direct for the public access. That's all I have, thank you.
Anyone else? Okay, at this time, need a motion for the approval of the regular and closed minutes.
I'll make it.
Second.
I've got a question on that. When are we going to approve committee meetings?
Approve what committee meetings? The building committee?
Well, how many committee meetings have you had?
That's all we've got, is a building committee.
Wasn't there one in September?
September meeting?
Yeah.
Yeah, I provided you with the information about the building
Has it
committee.
been approved? The minutes of it been approved?
2 months later is what I've been told. 2 months after, not 2 months, I guess, 2 meetings after.
Board policy says the next meeting.
With building committees,
All meetings.
I was told that building committees are different than board meetings. So I've done what I was instructed to do at this point.
Who instructed you to do that?
Tony Louise, our attorney.
Okay.
Jim?
Sean,
Yes.
Holly,
Yes.
Melissa,
Yes.
Rob,
Yes.
Jen,
Yes.
Mandy,
Yes.
Gordon.
Yes. Next, we move on to approval of all financial reports, including the balance sheet, bills, and payroll. Motion, please.
I've got questions on those too.
Okay, go ahead.
Check number 82,787 to Stewardson Strasburg School District. $400. What's that for? Did we co-op with them on
That's for
bus
my,
driver?
that's for my benefits.
Why are we paying them to Stu Strauss?
Because that's the policy that I take through my wife's insurance company.
I believe if you look at your contract, we provide you insurance.
Correct. You will pay for my insurance is what it
We
says.
provide you insurance.
That's not what the contract says.
You don't have to take it. It says that you will have insurance like everyone else.
Paid for like everyone else.
And everyone else has theirs through Stu Strauss.
No, I don't believe everybody else needs to use Stu Strauss. I think too many other people have ties to Stu Strauss, but pretty sure you're aware of that.
Both our parties acknowledge that the superintendent did not have the option of choosing to receive the contributed amount directly instead of having such contributions paid by the board to the teacher's retirement system, and teacher's health insurance security fund, and further acknowledge that such contributions are made as a condition of employment to secure the superintendent's future services, knowledge, and experience. And then in 18, it says,
What are you reading?
your contract,
Okay. See if I can.
medical insurance, is this medical insurance?
Yes, correct.
The board shall pay the same amount for health insurance as other staff receive as established in the collective bargaining agreement between the district and its certified staff. So everybody in here, you're telling me, has the option to have their insurance paid?
Our whole employee staff,
Yes.
I don't know if anybody else has asked for it.
You didn't answer my question. Do they have
I'd
that
have
option?
to check into that because I have not had anybody else that needed it.
It'll probably be in the other contract.
So,
Is this an issue that we're approving of the financial report right now?
yes, because we're writing checks
Well,
to
that's,
$800 a month just to do straws.
It's not unusual for your benefit to be paid to someplace else, you just get the money.
That's not an option.
I thought when we
What you
hired,
just read was an option, that his medical benefits would be paid.
right, I thought when Andy was hired, and I apologize, I don't have minutes and or notes in front of me, but I thought when he was hired, it was less expensive to go through your wife.
I don't know that that was ever explained.
And we've done that for other employees too, if their benefit is cheaper, then we went that route.
And we pay it.
That we give them the money, yes.
If that's not an option that you guys.
It doesn't go
Just
directly
Roger
to the
Ellis
person.
leave.
This is not an option you're interested
This-
in, I can come back with a proposal at the next meeting to clean this up, if you
It
want,
needs
so to
to be
speak.
cleaned up.
Sure.
but this is a separate issue. Right now, we're approving the balance sheet, the bills, the payroll, and the financial report.
But how can you approve something that you're not gonna pay or shouldn't be
But we
paid?
are,
But
because
we are.
we decided that we would pay his benefit, we are.
So this should have been on the agenda as something else,
Exactly.
separately.
I make a motion to approve these.
I
Well, I've
second it.
got other questions.
Okay, what's your next one?
Second. Okay. Check number 82844.
844?
Yes, ESS Clean Incorporated,
Yes,
$410. Is that for cleaning supplies?
nope, that's for cleaning this office.
Did the board vote on this?
Not sure, I'd have to do some checking, I can
Was-
check.
Was the board made aware of it?
Oh, I believe I mentioned to the board that they were gonna look into a cleaning service, yeah.
Okay. Check number 82869. Lustig Custom Cabinets, what's that for?
That's for the new secretary's desks.
So we paid $12.50 each for those desks?
I don't know offhand what we paid for them, I mean, I'd have to look through the bills to find out exactly.
Well, the check was for $2,500. So were they the same?
Was the desks the same?
Yeah,
Yeah, we had the same desks.
so it'd be
We had
$12.50,
cabinets
correct?
with, huh?
It'd be $12.50, correct?
I guess it's a portion of it. Again, I don't have the bills memorized, but had I been asked this ahead of time, I'd have been glad to have provided answers for these.
So we've got a bookkeeper and a secretary here that can go get those figures.
We could, and we could also do this on an individual basis in preparation for meetings.
Well, when you don't get a check registered in a timely manner, it's kind of hard to do, Andy. You know, you don't give me the same courtesy that you're asking for, now do you?
You earned what you got, Ted. I'm sorry that you don't understand how blind copies work, that's very disappointing. But you blind copied board emails that included
outside
employee
people.
and student information to outside people.
Yeah,
That's
that real-
illegal.
That is.
That's illegal.
Made you bet. Made you bet.
Okay, check number 82690, which was last month, was $2,500 to Lustig Custom Cabinets. So what was that for?
We have cabinets, and we have desks, and we have things of that nature. As we've progressed through the process, we pay them whatever they have ready to come to us.
Just tell about the line item, that we get this line item.
It came out of the administrative cap line, yes. Portion of it came from last year, it was still left at the end of the year, and then the other portion of it's coming from this year.
Still no approval
What's that?
by the board.
For?
Whatever we're paying for.
We do
It's never
approve the,
been
we
presented.
approve the bills, so I'm supposed to bring to you every item that we purchased for approval before we purchase
Okay,
it?
then, in October, Lustig Custom Cabinets, $5,000. Is that still the same desk?
Yeah, I guess. That's the only thing we bought from Lustig Cabinets is cabinets and
So
desks.
now we're up to,
Did they do the elementary as well?
No, this is for our unit office desks.
The only place the money can be spent.
Gotcha.
now September, $3,862. Is that still for the desk?
Is it Lustig?
Yes.
All things through Lustig at this point. Have we purchased anything else from Lustig that you know of right now? Would be
Have you purchased anything besides desk from Lustig's?
desks and cabinets and everything that goes with what's set up in those two offices came from Lustig Cabinets.
And then, in July, we had $5,626, which brings us to $18,707 for 2 desks. Is that what you're telling me?
Cabinets, countertops, desks.
How many
the
cabinets
whole-
is there?
I don't know, I didn't count them. You know how many cabinets we have with each of your desks?
Several file cabinets, several upper cabinets. Yeah.
Was these items bid on?
No.
They weren't bid.
No.
Do we have anybody in the district that makes cabinets?
That makes cabinets in the
Yes,
district.
that builds cabinets.
Again, this is not what we're talking about.
Exactly.
This needs to be a separate item on the agenda.
It's part of the bills.
It
It's
needs,
check number 82869.
needs to be something else on the agenda if you want to
You
discuss
don't agree
this.
with those.
You got your answer, we need to move on. If you want to talk about it, put it on the agenda.
Or come look at the cabinets so you know what they are.
Well, I can read what they are.
Do you need a motion to do this?
I already did it.
Okay.
You already
He said he had a few more
seconded it.
items.
Yeah.
What else do you have, Ted?
That's an app.
Okay, no record motion.
If they're coming out of a line item, it's not something that, are we gonna start requiring him to tell us how much toilet paper he buys from somewhere too?
If you're spending $18,000 on it, I'd hope so. How many $18,000 desks are in the
I just,
health
I'm
department?
remodeling at home right now, I can
It's
tell
all
you
out.
cabinets are expensive. So if their cabinet and those desks and everything cost that, I believe it.
Well, we got a PO here that, our PO number has 76217. We'll make that an invoice for a PO number. It's dated 6/22/17, so the PO number is after the date. The purchase order is June 22nd, 2017. Purchase order number is 4416, there's nowhere on it. We didn't bid them. And they're not the way they're listed. You can tell that by looking through.
For next month, let's talk about this line item. Let's have some information on this line item.
How it works,
how that
the
works.
rules.
Okay, we're ready for a
Get
motion.
you what you need.
you have more questions?
Nope.
Now we're ready for a motion.
I already made that.
Jen?
Melissa, I think second.
Holly?
Yes.
Melissa?
Yes.
Rob?
Yes.
Jed?
Yeah, no.
Mandy?
Yes.
Gordon?
Yes.
John?
Yes. Okay, this time we need approval of the 2017 Newton Community High School graduation date of May 12, 2018 at 7 p.m.
I'll make it.
A second.
Melissa?
Yes.
Rob?
Yes.
Jed?
Yes.
Mandy?
Yes.
Gordon?
Yes.
John?
Yes.
Holly?
Yes.
Next one I'll read, then John can ask for a motion. First of all, it's acceptance of donations. Melissa Simple has donated $150 and 4 to 5 cases of soda to help offset the cost of the JCJH trimester academic and attendance award ceremonies. This money will be used toward purchase of Casey's gift cards, soda, etc. for students throughout the school year. Students receive recognition each trimester by qualifying for honor rolls, high and in honors, improvement roll after first trimester, raise their GPA and have no Fs, and for having perfect attendance. Please accept this generous donation of $150 and 4 to 5 cases of soda from Melissa Simple for the JCJH trimester award ceremonies with much thanks. Second one is please accept the following donation of $2,438 from the Mary Heath Foundation. This donation will be used to purchase a collaboration table for the Learning Center. We appreciate the Mary Heath Foundation for their generosity and support. Thanks for your consideration on this donation.
Need a motion, please?
I'll make it.
Second.
Rob?
Yes.
Jed?
Yes.
Mandy?
Yes.
Gordon?
Yes.
John?
Yes.
Holly?
Yes.
Melissa?
Yes.
Okay, this time I need a motion to, for the destruction of closed session recordings for May 19, 2016. This was tabled from the November 14th meeting, and destruction of the closed session recording for June 16, 2016.
I'll make
Those
it.
are separate. Those are separate items.
We'll vote them separate.
Please.
So letter X, destruction of closed session for May 19, 2016. A
I'll make
motion.
it.
I got a question about those, please. Statutes and board policy states that there has to be a detailed minutes of those, and that we review them every 6 months. Have we done that? And do we have
I'm assuming we
that
probably don't
detailed?
unless there's a concern that needs to be addressed. Would be
Well,
my-
can you walk in after they're destroyed, the recordings are destroyed,
But they're
and
going
have
to
a
be
detailed, because they've never been posted.
The recordings? I've never been.
A detailed minutes to look at to see what was on the recording.
You can't see clothes.
Hmm.
You can't see clothes.
You can see the minutes, we can.
We can.
Are they there?
For the board
That's my
members is what
question.
you're asking.
Yes,
For the
that's
board
my
members, not the
question.
public.
I'm guessing we don't have
In
detailed.
June, July and January, for 6 months.
But we don't do a detailed, we don't say,
No,
go
because
through
I'm
the
not, I don't
video.
know what's going on during the closed session.
Right.
I don't have any idea.
I can check and see if that's something that we need to do. If that's what you're telling us we're supposed to be doing.
I
I
don't
can
think
check
so,
on that.
because
It's in
we've
the
discussed,
statutes.
but we've discussed this really, we've discussed this often, this has come up consistently, and our old law firm told us that we did not have to have word for word recordings, so I would check with the lawyer,
I will.
but we've changed law firms since then.
Can finish the motion and vote?
Okay, Melissa, who's second?
I'll second.
Jed?
No.
Mandy?
Yes.
Gordon?
Yes.
John?
Yes.
Holly?
Yes.
Melissa?
Yes.
Rob?
Yes.
Then destruction of closed session recording for June 16, 2016.
I'll make it.
Second.
Mandy?
Yes.
Gordon?
Yes.
John?
Yes.
Holly?
Yes.
Melissa?
Yes.
Rob?
Yes.
Jed?
No.
Andy?
Okay, positive news and communication. St. Marie Elementary, for the 4th straight month, our overall attendance has been 95% or higher. Newton Elementary students and staff raised over $650, which was donated to the Shriners to be used to replace items for their hospital patients that were lost in their warehouse fire. I want to say a special thank you to Joni Elliott, Jeffrey Finley, and Brian Ridland for the wonderful Newton Elementary Christmas program and 5th and 6th grade concert. The time and dedication that they give our students and community is amazing and is very much appreciated. Newton Elementary students have been participating in the Hour of Code. Thank you, Mrs. Gina Fox, for providing this opportunity for our students. All of Newton Elementary students are able to code, and Mrs. Fox has commented on how quickly our younger students learn coding. Junior high level, there is a ton in here, but I will read a few of them. Please look at the newspaper. They'll be in the newspaper, correct? Junior high and Newton Elementary 5th and 6th grades will travel to the Eagle Theater and watch the movie Wonder on 12/18, which was today. Through a lot of coordination and planning by several, including Melissa Semple, Kathy, and Travis. Great social emotional learning opportunity for our students and staff. I'd also say Chris Barr with transportation. Anybody I'm missing?
Mr. Benefield drove a bus.
Mr. Benefield drove a bus for us. Mr. Michaels drove a bus for us. So
Mr. Davidson.
nice to have those guys on board to be able to do that. Save us some money. Kids, how many kids went?
360, 370, 5th through 8th grade.
And that will also be funded by donations. So
Yes.
that's very appreciated by this, by our staff. So thank you that we're involved in that. Junior high is taking part in the annual Jasper County Ministerial Association Canned Food Drive. All is being organized and ran by the Student Council and Mrs. Harris, which is the sponsors. Do you have the winning first hour class?
Mrs. Cox's yearbook class.
Is it?
Yep.
Mrs. Cox's yearbook
Yeah,
class.
donut party tomorrow.
Okay, so you can't tell anybody that tonight, right?
Yeah, we already know.
Oh, they know? Okay. All right, first trimester award ceremony was held where students are recognized for making the honor rolls and perfect attendance. Soda tickets and Talon tickets were presented to each student as well, being in the drawing in each category for a Casey's gift card, soda, and pizza, which was 3 visits. Chorus and band Christmas concert is tonight at 7 p.m. So if we get out of here by then, those of you that are here, slide over there and watch that. Newton High School, ton here too. We got a lot of things going on in this district this month, and I appreciate all these people that are sitting here right now, providing it for me and providing the opportunities for their kids. NCHS is proud to announce that we have 16 Illinois State Scholars. This is the most in a very long time, if not the most ever. Congratulations to those students, their parents, and their teachers of JCCU1. I believe we had, what, 8 last year? 8 last year, and I think you gotta go a long way from here to find more than 16.
Yes, you do.
Okay.
I think Charleston is the closest school near us that has, I think they have one more than us. But other than that, everybody, we have the most. I'm not gonna
I think that's
brag.
posted on Facebook. And
Yeah.
the NCHS chorus held their Christmas concert at St. Thomas Church on December 10th. We had a great turnout and got everyone in the Christmas spirit. We have so much talent at NCHS, so they did an incredible job there. On December 16th, the Spanish Club did their yearly Christmas caroling, making of gingerbread houses at the Newton Care Center. And it's so wonderful to see our students interacting with residents and spreading Christmas cheer. On December 12th, Student Council held a blood drive. We hold lots of blood drives here.
Yes, we
So
do.
I think we're doing our part in that category. They surpassed their goal by 17 that day. They will have 2 more blood drives this school year, thanks to all that came out and donated. NCHS Math Club did a toy drive for toys for kids, donated 3 garbage bags full of toys. We are guessing that that was around 150 to 200 toys donated by our students this year. FCA helped pack for blessings and a backpack on December 12th. It is great to see groups getting involved and helping others. The girls basketball team is doing their annual Christmas caroling at Newton Care Center and the Villas of Hollybrook on December 18th. I've been out there for some things since I've been here. Those people appreciate them being around, so that's going to be awesome. Jacqueline Street and Taylor Smith made it into the Illinois All-State Chorus. They are 2 of 400 students that made it in the entire state, out of 400 plus that auditioned. We are so proud of them and this accomplishment. This year, NCHS, along with the community filled 275 shoe boxes for the kids of Jasper County. It's very exciting and humbling at the same time to watch all the gifts come into the office. They were piled up there this afternoon, and now they are piled up at the Urba Center. Thanks to all that participated and made someone else's Christmas a little brighter. Creighton Chestnut, Taylor Smith, Emily Neon, Connie Hemrick, Sarah Blecka, Brianna Caldwell, and John Johnson organized the coat drive this year. They collected coats for about a month at various locations throughout the community. We were amazed at the number of coats, hats, and gloves that were received for this project. The coats were then handed out on December 16th during the ministerial food distribution. Thank you, Jasper County. Thank you, Mr. Parr. Thank you, Mrs. Preps, as they were out there all morning, right? Thank you for being a part of that. NCHS raised over $800 for Kinsey Bruns and her family to go towards medical expenses. Kinsey's mother was in an automobile accident a couple weeks ago, so we're helping out in that area. So that's a great tribute to that. Technology. Digital signage has been installed in the hallways at Newton Elementary, the junior high, and NCHS. Flat panel TVs are being used for announcements, reminders, menus, and other communications. If you haven't been around, it'd be a neat thing to check out. It does add to the culture and the environment, in my opinion. Pretty neat. Convertible Chromebooks or new iPads are being distributed to teachers to replace the older iPads they had been using. That's it. There's more on here, but it'll be in the paper. FOIA, we just had one, and there's been an extension on that, 5-day extension. That'll be due on Wednesday, and we'll have that information to that person. That's Andy Pullen asked for some information, and again, we'll have it up on the website once we've got everything completed. New business, I would like to act on F, if you don't mind, before, so it's a little bit out of order, and only because if we act on F, it slides right in with A, which is our tax levy as presented. And again, as I mentioned earlier, the risk management, the attorneys, per Jed's suggestion at the last board meeting, I get a hold of, think of my attorney's name now, Ken Flores with Robbins and Swartz. That's who did our risk management plan back in the days, so we've raised him again. So at this time, we do have, and that was provided for you, the increase on the risk management. So if you don't mind, let's act on F first. Any questions about that risk management plan? They did increase them as it was stated that we potentially could.
Okay, this time I need approval, a motion for the approval to amend the risk management plan, letter F.
Thank you.
Second.
Gordon,
Yes.
John,
Yes.
Holly,
Yes.
Melissa,
Yes.
Rob,
Yes.
Jed,
Yes.
Mandy.
Yes.
Then we'll jump to A, approval of the 2017 tax levy as presented. I noted on your copy that there were minor changes from November. Those changes did reflect based on what you just approved right there with the risk management.
Motion?
I'll make it.
I'll second it.
John,
Yes.
Holly,
Yes.
Melissa,
Yes.
Rob,
Yes.
Jed,
Yes.
Mandy,
Yes.
Gordon.
Yes.
B, I'm going to ask you to table that to January because I do not have in my possession the settlement yet from the Newton Power Station and Dynegy. It's still being in the works, and I left it on here hoping that if I received it today, we could act on it and it would reflect on our tax levy too, but I didn't get it, so I guess I need probably a motion to table that.
Make it.
Second.
Holly,
Yes.
Melissa,
Yes.
Rob,
Yes.
Jed,
Yes.
Mandy,
Yes.
Gordon,
Yes.
John.
Yes.
Next one is approval of purchasing the services from the National School Climate Center, the NSCC. We're going to pay this out of title if the amendment is approved. If not, we will utilize district funds. We are pretty sure that we're going to be able to pay it out of title, but I always like to leave that in there just in case. The purpose of this program, what we are going to do is replace the 5 Essentials survey, which we give every other year. This would be the year that we would need to give the 5 Essentials survey. We have to go through a process with the state in order to not give that, and this is one of the substitutes that they do allow us to do. And what we are planning to do with this is it goes deeper into the social and emotional makeup of our students and staff and the culture that we have here. Once we get that information back, we do feel like we're going to be able to utilize that information for the betterment of improvements in this district moving forward. Much better data from what we've seen. Melissa Simple's helped us a lot with this, but it's a much better process than the 5 Essentials survey. Most people, if you ask them, didn't like the 5 Essentials survey in the first place. So if you're okay with that, we'll move forward with that. Here's your motion.
I'll make it.
Alyssa,
Yes.
Rob,
Yes.
Jed,
Yes.
Mindy,
Yes.
Gordon,
Yes.
John,
Yes.
Holly.
Yes.
Next is another item that I would like to table to January, and there's a good chance that if January will come back with something other than a temporary classroom structure occupancy. The numbers are pretty high as we provide for you. We're not real comfortable with spending that amount of money, so we're trying to make some adaptations and do some other things that hopefully we can come back and stay.
What is it?
That's the Dynegy tent that was donated to us. We're coming,
It's still gonna cost us 60 grand.
yeah,
To get it up to code.
to, right, to meet code to put kids in.
Well, it's still gonna cost us 60 grand.
Right. That's why we don't think that's a good idea right now. So we'll table this one to January, and it may be on from January, but to January for now.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
Rob,
Yes.
Jed,
Yes.
Mindy,
Yes.
Gordon,
Yes.
John,
Yes.
Holly,
Yes.
Alyssa.
Yes.
Next is information about utilizing Mechanical Incorporated to do work at the St. Marie Building over Christmas break, and then Newton Elementary, the junior high and high school in the summer. This work has not been done in, what'd you say, since about 2014, we think?
Well, as far as the boiler systems and tuning those up, probably not since Mr. Benefit retired,
Right.
just before he retired.
Give them a
What are
little
you
brief.
doing to 'em?
Huh?
What are you doing to 'em?
They do an analysis, and then the burn analysis, they come in there, basically it's like a tune up your engine, they come in and diagnose it, make sure everything is burning like it's supposed to, they'll check for minor leaks, they'll clean filters, they'll do things like that, that only a boiler company can do, because they'll check pop-offs and things like that, so. St. Louis Boiler's done it for us in the past, and they come out of St. Louis, and these guys have come in and looked, kind of taken a walk through our district with us, and they asked if that's one of the things we've done, and I said no. So Mr. Critchley and myself and Bradley sat down, and it's one thing we probably need to do, is to stay on top of. We don't know for sure how long we're gonna have these boiler systems, but it's kind of like changing an oil. You gotta do it once in a while, and it costs you a little bit of money to do it, but it makes them last longer.
Was that done during the remodel at the high school?
No, you mean as far as this kind of analysis? No. Because we didn't do anything with the boiler system other than just eliminate parts of it it was using, as far as steam pipes.
Anyone else? Need a motion?
I'll make it.
Second.
Jed,
Yes.
Mindy,
Yes.
Gordon,
Yes.
John,
Yes.
Holly,
Yes.
Alyssa,
Yes.
Rob.
Next is G, approval to purchase new transportation software. Before we start the conversation on this, because I know it's been already addressed to me that this is ridiculous that we're doing this, so I will go ahead and address that right out of the gate. And I will tell you that, and you tell me right now, I told you last year when I got here, after a short period of time being here, we wanted a software program, correct? He didn't come and ask for a software program. Little did I know, and I've learned since then, that we went through a software issue with the transportation department. And I know at this time right now, again, I'm coming forward because I'm looking for some efficiency. I'm looking for some reporting. I'm looking for an opportunity for us to do some things that this software program allows us to do to hopefully make our transportation department, number one, better. Number two, we'd like to hope down the road we can save some money, but I'm not stating it's a savings of money right now, because until we get it in here and get it going, I don't know some of that. So here's the deal. Andy Johnson asked for a software program. Chris Parr didn't ask for a software program. This is strictly mine. Okay, so if there's any questions in regards to that part of it, I'll address that. If there's any questions about the software it can do, Chris and I will try to answer those questions if indeed you want us to.
Was this due that Edulog did? Let me rephrase that. What will this do that Edulog said that they would do?
That's a very good question. I asked that exact same question. I had told them, that we went to them, and whenever I started asking things, I had said, we had a bad taste in our mouth from a previous company, software company we'd used. And so what could they do for us that they couldn't do? And everything that I've walked through as far as they give me, of course they give me a demo walkthrough. I will say that whenever I walked it with the last software company, the demo they gave me was a canned demo. It basically showed me, you know, how they do things here or there, whatever, and I said, well, that's okay, that's good, but will that work for us? And they said, absolutely, that'll work for you. Well, it did. Whenever they done the demo with Traversa, which is who this is, they pulled up a map of Jasper County. I give them some addresses, I give them some stops and some things we do things, and he built a live, he built a route right there in front of me, so I got to see it happen inside of our county and not inside of somebody else's county. Also, one of the things that we really struggled with the other software company is, of course, living in Jasper County, we turn around everywhere, you know. And as far as making those turnarounds, it was a nightmare with the other software company. They made us go around the country mile block, which you're going 4 extra miles to pick up one kid. And it always had to be done on the back door. It wasn't something that we could do that I could do myself. Well, with this company, I can, with a click of a button, I can say I want that to be a turnaround. And it will automatically go ahead and be a turnaround. As far as ease of use, it looks like it is 180 times easier to use than anybody else, or the last company that we had. I did check with other companies to see how they were, and there was another company that we probably could have sat down, and if we would have sat the guys down, looked at him and asked him this question, probably would have got some of the same answers. This company was a little bit cheaper, but they have been around, and they do have, I did check with a couple of the references, and the people that have them have been using them for several years, and they're very, very happy with them. Reports, looks like reports are going to be a lot easier for us to make. It's just a click of a button. We can track mileage, we can track activity trips, we can check. Now, as we go in the future, it will track things like kids, and we could even do things like parent portals, to where if you had a child on the bus and the bus wasn't there yet, you could have an app on your phone and you could look it up and you can say, hey, where's Chris Parr's bus at? And it would tell you immediately where a bus is at. Now, that's not where we're at right now, but it is the thing that opens up the door. One thing it does allow us to do that we could do right now is some of the camera systems that we already have in place. This system would go ahead and integrate with those camera systems, and we could see live camera views, and we could also use the GPS that's already integrated in the camera systems to be able to see where these buses are at. In today's world, with all the bad things going out there, it's not a bad idea to know where your school buses are at all times. So I will say that, you know, the last one did give us a very bad taste. You know, it's like maybe buying that generic piece of chocolate, you know, you ate it, you didn't like it, so I'm gonna go with Hershey's from now on. So it's, you know, as far as cost-wise, really, they're not much different than what Edgelog was, but I do believe that they do offer, they're not gonna do just what they've done. With the people I've talked to and the things I've checked with, it looks like it's really, they're the real deal.
So who around here has it?
T-Town has Versatrans, which Versatrans is the mother, which is the beginning company. But Tyler Technologies, which is now Transversa, is everybody that has Versatrans will eventually have to be shipped over that. There's a company or a school district up north, and I can't remember the name of it, and I talked to their transportation director, and they've had it for several years and been very, very happy with it. And then I will also say, with where we're at in the transportation district, we're down to, well, myself and Daniel and Nick, and there's probably going to be a retirement possibly, and we're down to one secretary and O&M and transportation. And this afternoon, he built a route that I gave him that we had. He built a route in probably 5-10 minutes, which takes me at this time to sit down and build a route probably, you know, 3 or 4 hours. And there is also this device that comes along with it that I could drive a route. I have it on my phone. I pull up to your house. You know how 911 address is. You can punch in a 911 address, or you can punch in a Google Earth address, and it'll show you a little map on there, but it may not be even any house right there. So I can hit this app. I pull it in front of your house. I hit stop. I take this back, plug this into Traversa, and it lays out that whole route right there in front of me. It programs in how many times you're going to stop. 20 seconds, 30 seconds at each stop. It'll pull that in there, and I can hit the button and say, what's the most efficient way to run these stops? And it'll take the map that we have, and it'll say, this is the best way to run that map. Now we can go ahead and program in there. You can't cross this bridge, you can't go down that road. you know, we need to turn around here, we need to turn around here, we need to turn around here. It'll tell you exactly how many miles it is, it'll tell you exactly how long that route should take with the time that you have logged in there. So if I give 15 seconds for kids to get on the bus, it accounts for all that.
I think we've discussed this before. Will it show you the frequency of that student riding?
The frequency.
How often the student rides?
How often
Oh,
they ride?
yeah, we can. I mean, that's, there again, it's that student tracking. We can. I mean, they can get on it, it's there, the technology's there where they can get on, they can swipe a card. It shows them on the bus, it shows them off the bus. That's another thing that we could, you know, with our neighbors that had an accident last year, not knowing who's on the bus or who's not on the bus, this would be a great way for us to be able to say how many kids are on that bus, how often they ride, how often they don't ride. It can even put in, you know, if you wanted to have 5 different stops for your kid, it'll notice all 5 of those stops, AM pickups and drop-offs. Now, I'm not suggesting we give everybody 5 AM pickups and 5 AM drop-offs.
There you go.
But it can. I think there's a lot more options with what this would offer us.
To utilize something like that in this area, because, you know, I understand the bridge out, you know, the turnaround, that sort of thing. But basically in routing, there's only so many ways you can go in a rural area to get to a stop. But at the same time, if that student out there isn't riding 90% of the time, you can make other
Absolutely.
adjustments.
Yep, you can adjust the route to accommodate.
And, you know, that's what EduLog is supposed to do.
Well, there was a lot of things they told us they would do, and when we started using the software, oh, it don't do that. Well, you told us it would do that. Well, I don't know who told you that, but that wasn't right. Okay, that, I've already asked all those questions. Of course, I guess maybe it's a good thing in a way, because it gives me the knowledge to say, hey, what about this? What about this? And what about this? And they answered every one of those questions. And I was right up front saying, this is what happens to us. If this is what you are, this is not what we want. It's not what we need.
It's cheaper.
Mm-hmm.
It's cheaper initially. Does it have the same capability for your maintenance?
For the maintenance, it does have a fleet. It does have a fleet maintenance. Now, they don't, as far as one of the things EduLog told us they would do is that they would give us pop-up reminders and it would say, hey, this bus is due for this and this bus is due for this. Well, it didn't do that. They don't offer that, but they say it's not something out of the question. But we can track everything we do on these buses. We can probably start tracking better as far as fuel mileage, how much fuel usage we're having, how much money we're actually spending. Right now, we're trying to keep a record of how much maintenance we're spending on buses. And Daniel has to make his work orders, handwritten work orders, and he has to go ahead and then he has to pull all that from over to another screen, and then he has to pull it over to this, and then put it all together, and then he prints me out a copy, and I make a copy and bring it to Mr. Johnson. With this, you can make the work order right there. It automatically puts everything together. It tells how much money we spent this month in fuel, it'll tell how much money we spent this month in oil and filters, how much we spent in injectors, things like that. It's an automatic, the reports are there. And then at the end of the year, when we do our state reports, it'll make it much easier to pull over mileages that we need to get for our state reports as far as co-curricular, extra driving, special needs, pre-K, regular routes, vans, trucks, all that stuff. We can separate all right there with that. And everything, and he said everything you can do with the left click of a button, and right now I've not seen anything I couldn't do. Everything's just a left click of a button. It'll use our student information system. We don't have to send all that to them. Everything's compatible, that we can pull everything over.
So is this kind of like an electronic medical records? I'm comparing it to my profession, but each hospital uses a different medical records depending on what they need. Can we ask them if we have a certain need in our community? Like you said, we don't fit the same mold as everybody else. Can they make our program to fit us?
Yes.
Okay, so we're not just buying.
It's built around us.
Okay,
Yep.
got it.
Yeah, it's a good question. It's built around us. EduLog was not. We had to kind of work around them. That didn't work.
Well, my seller said it saved them $10,000 a year.
And maybe it did. Maybe it worked better for them. Maybe they were better
They
molded
should have
around.
fired the superintendent, their
So Holly's question was that we could, they were built around us, but what if in 6 months from now or a year from now, you need to make an adjustment? Can they go, I assume for a fee, but they go in and change the software and update it for us?
Well, if we want to add things, yes.
Add,
I mean, as far as the actual routes and fleet maintenance and stuff like that, it's there, and everything that we need is in there.
It's there.
If we wanted to add student tracking, we want to add GPS on.
They're willing to do that.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
They recommended we didn't. They said, you need to do this first and get very comfortable with this first. And then when you feel like you're comfortable with this and your district is very happy, then and only then will we want to go forward. They would recommend that we do anything more than what we just need right now until we make for sure that it's something that's gonna work for us.
What's the time span to return?
If we was to act on this tonight, go ahead and contact them, we could have it established and be able to start using it every day, probably by April, May.
But how long do you have to get your money back if it does not?
That's a good question. I don't know if I know the answer to that one.
Because you know Edulog had a time span that they didn't meet their front end of getting it set up. And we ended up not getting a dime back.
Yeah, that's a good question. I didn't ask that
Went beyond it.
Okay, anyone else? All right, need a motion, please?
I'll make it.
I'll second it.
Randy,
Yes.
Gordon,
Yes.
John,
Yes.
Holly,
Yes.
Melissa,
Yes.
Rob,
Yes.
Jed.
Yes.
The next one's approval of a Sonic wall support and security subscription renewal. In November, as stated on your notes, we approved a 3-year deal, but they no longer have 3-year deals. When we went to do it, they reduced it to 2. So I'm asking you to basically come back and say it's okay for us to do a 2-year deal, which will cost us a total for the 2 years of $880. This would be purchased from Charlie Incorporated, which is exactly who we were gonna get the 3 years through.
Motion, please?
I'll make it.
Gordon,
Yes.
John,
Yes.
Holly,
Yes.
Melissa, Rob,
Yes.
Jed,
Yes.
Randy.
Yes.
Okay, this time I need a motion to enter closed session.
I'll make it.
John,
Yes.
Holly,
Yes.
Melissa, Rob,
Yes.
Jed, Randy,
Yes.
Gordon.
You guys go. We'll take care of that and I'll be there.